If you find your under eye area gets worse and worse the more you try and cover it up, then this simple 7-step routine is for you. Whether you're suffering from bags, hollows, lines or shadows, this routine will finally fix it, especially if, like me, you are over 50. Stay tuned to find out how. The first step is to diagnose what your particular eye problems are. And I have been putting off starting this video because I can't bear to go in and look up close at my eyes. So the problems that I am dealing with and that I can see is I do have some redness around the eye. I can see a few veins here, but more importantly, I can see a kind of a shadow here. And I've kind of been inspecting it to figure out exactly what's going on. And there are several different things at play. One is a kind of a hollow here. It's not too bad in the mirror, but in the wrong lighting it can look really dark. So I have this sort of a hollow coming down from the inner corner of my eye. The skin here is a little bit blue actually, and carrying down here it's a bit blue. I do have a little bit of a fat pad here, which is good, but what it does is it casts a shadow into this hollow underneath. So when the lighting is bad, I can see I've got a little bit of puffiness here where the fat pad is. I've got this kind of blue hollow, and then the shadow is coming down from the fat pad above, and then doesn't finish there. If we get closer, and particularly if I start to smile, you will see these lines forming, and that's what I call crepey skin, where you've got kind of a crisscross of lines creating this sort of crepiness under the eye. And then of course we've got a few laughter lines coming out the side here as well. So that is an absolute minefield of problems to deal with, and I'm only 50, so these problems are only just beginning for me, and they are almost certainly going to get worse over the next 20 or 30 years. So I'm keen to figure out how to contend with these particular issues and what it is that I need to be doing to conceal them, because when I go straight in and just stick a thick concealer underneath my eye, it just makes things look worse. It enhances this crepiness. You can see all of the lines, they all become magnified. It does nothing really to contend with the shadowing in this hollow, and overall it just makes me want to bin the concealer altogether because it's not doing me any favours. So today I'm going to go through a multi-step system of all the different things that you can do to try and enhance the look of your under eyes for the years coming. The first step in our eye system is of course the skincare and prep. So it might not be the sexiest step, but it is unfortunately necessary. So one of the things that I have taken to doing is at night time I've been using eye masks. So I used this one last night. It's the hydrating hydrogel eye mask. It includes sea moss and collagen infused is what it says. This is Foreo Iris. I just got this on Amazon. And I just feel like I'm taking care of my skin last thing at night before I get a good night's sleep, to try and give my skin the maximum chance of being refreshed and young looking in the morning. After that, and what I've done this morning, is I've actually used, this is a new product to me. It is a number 7 booster serum, and it's a line correcting serum, and it says that you can use this alongside your other serums and creams. So first thing I did this morning was go in and put this serum on underneath and around my eyes. Actually, that's not entirely true. The first thing I did was I used this Eye Bright Soothing Eye Lotion from Liz Earle, just to kind of prepare the area and get it ready. Then I went in with this line correcting booster serum. After that had settled in, I went in with my general daily routine is to use an eye serum or an eye cream, a skin serum, and a face cream. So that might be a lot for some people, but I rather enjoy the whole process, so it's not an issue for me. This morning I went in with the number 7 Future Renew eye serum, so I used that on my eye area as well. Then all over the face I used the number 7 Future Renew face serum. And then once that had settled in, actually I was going to use my number 7 face cream, but I realised it's got SPF in it, and SPF irritates my eyes and makes them red, so that wasn't a look I was going for this morning. So actually I did use this Lancome Hydrogen cream to finish my face skincare this morning. And then I did also have this product that I would have tried had I not already gone in with quite a lot of products. I found this one in my collection, Liz Earle Instant Brightening Eye Cream, and if I had seen that sooner I probably would have given that a go as well. So there's a kind of a selection of skin prep and creams and serums and things that you can use. There are plenty of drugstore and high-end options out there, and I just like the idea of using specific eye products to try and protect this area, which is of course aging, and aging rather faster than the other areas of skin on my face. So now for the science bit, as they say. We are going to start applying things to our face, and this is a completely optional option for you, but I have just encountered this and it is something of a miracle worker. This is the Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firm Eye Tightening, Temporary Eye Tightener rather. I'm going to give that a go this morning, so you are going to see that working as we progress with the rest of the kind of eye makeup look. I do also have this as an alternative, the L'Oreal Revitalift Laser Eye Bag Instant Eraser, and I think that product has the exact same effect as the one we are going to try this morning. But you are going to see this in action and you can see for yourself whether you think this is worth the investment. Let's go ahead and apply this. It says that it instantly tightens, firms and smooths the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines and deep wrinkles around the eye area, diminishing the look of under eye puffiness. And I've only tried this once so far, so I'm still kind of in the testing phases. But when I tried this the other day, I did find that it dramatically reduced the amount of sort of bagging and puffing of this area just here. And since this area is what's kind of casting a shadow beneath it, I thought this was the ideal product to start our under eye fix video this morning. Like I say, this apparently takes 5 to 15 minutes to work. It does say to put it on before you've used or without any skincare, but I'm not kind of into that, so I have gone ahead and done my eye prep and skincare and so on this morning, but that has sat there for quite some time, so it's all kind of soaked in and nicely settled in before we've gone ahead and put the eye tightener product on. I have just put it kind of underneath the eye. Like I say, I'm still kind of working with this and testing it. I might go a little bit lower to make sure it kind of connects with that underneath area. You'll soon see if I've put too much on. It does say that it can produce a kind of a white residue if it combines with other products, or perhaps if you put too much on, and I think I might be at risk of putting too much on now because it's starting to sort of gum up a little bit on my finger. You can probably see that, so better not put any more on. Let us just let that settle in for a few moments, and then we'll make a move and start with our colour correcting, concealing and the other steps that we are going to try out today. So the first thing I am going to do is try and knock down some of the redness around my eye, and to do that I'm going to go in with this L'Oreal 24-hour redness eraser. This is like a green toned primer, so that should start to knock out some of the red colour around the eyes. I am going to use a tiny little, I'm going to put this on the back of my hand and use a tiny little sponge to apply it. I don't want to end up looking like Kermit by going in with too much of this, so I'm just going to go very gently with our sponge applicator. I really don't have very much on, but I think you can start to see that there's redness on this eye which has been eradicated from this eye, and I really haven't used very much at all. I'm tempted to go in with more because it's had such a good effect, but I am not going to. I'm just going to go in and do the other eye to match. I'm quite impressed by this, so I am going to go in and touch up my nose and chin area with it as well, because there's some redness in those areas. Okay, so next up, and it might be a little bit of overkill today, but I am going to use a little bit of this Super Boost brightening primer. It says with banana flower extract. I'm again just going to go in with my tiny little sponge and just apply some of this under the eye area to start to create a brightening effect. I am now going to apply some foundation to the rest of my face before we go in and conceal the under eye area. This is the Patrick Tar in the shade 6 Neutral. This is his Major Skin Hydrolux Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. So the next step is going to be colour correction, and I have found a number of drugstore options that we're going to take a look at, a variety of different ones here. So the colour correcting products tend to come in pink or peach, or even a darker orange, and I was kind of like baffled really. I was like, do I go for pink, do I go for peach, do I go for orange? And ultimately the advice seems to be that the lighter your skin is, the more pink it probably is going to work for you, and the darker your skin is, then you can move towards peach and then towards orange if you've got very dark skin. So for example, the darkest one that I have bought, but it's actually I think too dark for me, is this NYX Pro Fix stick, and that is in the shade Dark Peach. I'll just swatch this for you here so you can see. I bought this thinking that maybe that would work, but that's almost certainly too dark for my skin tone. There's no way I can use that to knock back the shadows and produce the right sort of colour. That is going to be far too dark for me, and that is going to be appropriate for someone with medium to dark skins, I think. The next one down from there that I have bought, again thinking that peach was the way to go, is this e.l.f. Camo Colour Corrector. Again, this is in the shade peach. I'll just swipe it for you. I've wiped the other one off actually, but this is not quite as dark, I don't think, as the other one. Actually, let me just swipe them together so you can see. Okay, no, they are both quite dark, but one is sort of a cream stick and one is a liquid stick. And so they are both far too dark for me. But the liquid one, of course, I can mix with some of the other pink shades. So let me just show you the various pink shades that I've got. From Morphe, I have this pink, which is called Blossom. If I just swatch that on the back of my hand, you can see that is Morphe Blossom. Then I also have from Studio London this one called Flawless Cream Concealer. I actually don't know what shade this is, but it is a very light pink on my skin. I'll just swatch it there for you so you can see. That's a very pale pink, that one. And then I do also have one that I've had for quite a long time. I've got the Benefit Boing Brighten Concealer. Actually, this is very old, so I don't know if they still make this, but this is in the shade Lychee. And again, that is a very pink, light shade. So I have concluded that although I want to be going for a pink colour corrector to try and kind of work with these hollows here, I'm going to try and mix it with the peach. Actually, I'm worried that the pink is going to be too white and too stark, although looking at my face I have got quite a pale foundation on today, so I might get away with the pink. But I'm just going to try and knock it down a little bit with some of the peach, and then we will apply that very sparingly to these hollows here before we go over with a matching shade concealer. So I'm just going to dab the smallest amount on these little purple areas. And I have to say, I'm using a tiny eye brush because something like this, which is advertised as a concealer brush, to me is what I was using before, and I was just making an awful mess of it because this is far too large brush to be doing under eye concealing. So I'm using a tiny little eye brush instead. So I've used the tiniest amount, and I've just tried to conceal those dark shadowy areas a little bit with this kind of light reflecting pink. I am going to blend it in using a tiny little sponge. I have to be careful not to completely remove all the product, but I didn't want to go in too heavy with this. Just blending out the edges to try to make it a little bit more cohesive with my skin and with my foundation. So I am going to go over that now with this Morphe concealer. This is a cool toned concealer in the shade Buff 4C in their Wake Up Artist range. So it is a range that's designed to brighten and lift. And I'm going to use my little sponge, and I've got some of the concealer here on my palette just to start to blend down the nose and inner eye, just to try and make sure that everything blends in nicely. And the thing I'm avoiding doing is going up too close to the lash line, actually, which is the sort of mistake that I was making previously. I was going right up to the lash line and then wondering why that area was looking increasingly crepey. But I've concluded that what I'm trying to do is lighten or lessen the shadows down here rather than concealing anything right up here. And the other thing to mention, I saw this on someone else's video, that if you conceal too far up to your eye, it does have the effect of making your eye look smaller, which most of us are not trying to do. So I would stay away from the eye line and focus your efforts down here where your hollows and your shadows are, rather than up near the actual eye line itself. So I actually have to say I'm a little bit disappointed that this hasn't had more effect today. I'm certain when I tried it the other day it had a more lifting effect. Perhaps it is still working. It says 3 to 7 minutes though, so that time should have passed now. I'll have to look back earlier in the video to see whether this is in fact pulled in my eye bags at all. I thought it did last time I tried it, but today it's very difficult to see whether it's had any effect. Now I have got another optional stage. I want to put forward to you the idea that what we might do here now is to brighten it up using something reflective. So I do have this highlighter from Tarte. It is called Glow Tape, and I'm going to put the smallest amount of this highlighter product into my eye area to see if that light reflecting quality helps alleviate these shadows at all. So again, I've just put a little bit on my palette, and I'm going to use my tiny eye brush, and we're just going to apply the tiniest amount of highlighter to our under eyes. Let's just blend it a little with our sponge, and I'll be super interested to hear what you think about this highlighter tip. So our next step for the under eyes is to go in with some powder, and we might just go in with a set powder like the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. We could use something like that. But I'm also tempted to mix in a bit of this Benefit Dandelion powder. This is a really pale pink, and I think that if we mix this in with our Charlotte Tilbury, we're going to have a nice pink brightening effect when we set our concealer. So let us go ahead and try that. I'm going to use this small little fluffy brush here, and I'm going to pick up a mixture of Charlotte Tilbury with a bit of the dandelion all on my brush, and then tap that underneath the eye area. And I rather like that. I think it's subtle, but it has the effect of setting our under eye area. And so we cannot finish our eye look without a good eyeshadow. And again, this is an important step in concealing our under eye shadows and hollows, because the act of putting on a darker shadow around the eye, and particularly on the lower lash line, has the effect of drawing the attention away from these hollows and towards your most beautiful feature, which is very often your eyes. So I'm going to go in with this Patrick Tar palette, the one we used in our Patrick Tar video yesterday, and I am just going to do a really gentle natural brown eye. And it's really important that we bring this shadow under the eye as well. Don't forget to blend out the edges of your eyeshadow with a nice big fluffy brush, and always bring your eyeshadow under the eye line, and this will have the effect of making your eyes appear bigger. Finish up my upper lashes with a little bit of eyeliner. And we need to do this to make sure we offset any imbalance brought about by shadowing underneath the lower lash line. Finish up with a bit of mascara. I'm not going to put mascara on my lower lashes today because I don't want to risk any mascara migrating onto the bottom lashes or to create any sort of additional shadowing. So we are just going to leave the bottom light and bright. So let me just complete the rest of my makeup look. And so here we have my final makeup look and my approach to concealing under eye bags and hollows. You can still see them, of course, and particularly if I tip my head down, because we are dealing with shadows, and unless you're going to carry a light around with you shining on your face, you are going to have to deal with shadows. But certainly if we lift our head up a little, then there is a completely nice, clean, bright finish underneath the eyes. Thank you so much for watching my 7 steps to the perfect under eye video. I hope you enjoyed my video today, and if you like the makeup I'm wearing, then please take a look at the Patrick Tar first impressions video here. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, stay curious. See you next time.